What's going on, sports bettors? In this video, we're kicking off a series where I'm going to be breaking down an NFL win total, future player prop, heading into this 2021-2022 season. We're going to start off with the Chargers win total, sitting at 9.0. You basically can take the over-under 9 and lay some juice to take the over, get a nice plus money to take the under, or you can get it at 9.5. It's definitely moving towards that direction. I don't know how many 9s will be available as we go into week 1, but the line has been moving from 9 all the way up to 9.5, and we might even see some 10s at some point if this trend continues. But table of contents here, I really want this video to have a ton of info for you guys, and I want to jam-pack a ton of value into a short video under 10 minutes. I listen to podcasts all day, every day on fantasy football, on sports betting, on any of those topics. And I feel like there's so many times I listen to a long podcast and I really take close to nothing out of it. So my goal on this channel is to pack a ton of value into a short amount of time, and I think you guys will appreciate that. But table of contents, we're going to go over the Chargers, how they did the 2022 schedule and the results. They went 7-9. And then we're going to compare that to their 2021 schedule. We're going to go over the new head coach hire. We're going to compare Herbert's rookie stats to what his projections could be. We're also going to talk about that jump from year 1 to year 2. Several quarterbacks have done it where they were inserted into somebody else's offense their first year playing in the league, and then second year getting that first full off season. They had great progression. So I have Lamar Jackson stats in there to just compare. The completely newly rebuilt offensive line for the Chargers, they're only getting one of their starters back. And that's a good thing because their O-line sucked last year, but we're going to break down each of the 5 offensive linemen, which I think is really the biggest thing to focus on when attacking this win total and projecting the Chargers season. Key draft picks and free agent signings, a couple of players I just wanted to touch on there. And then my official prediction. Now, I will say this is my most confident play. So I wanted to start off with this video. I actually flew out to Las Vegas. I'm from Texas. So to get money down here in Texas, it's not as easy as a state like Vegas where it's legal. And I think I will be flying back to put more money into this. So definitely stick around to the end of the video. So first off, we'll go over the schedule. They were 7-9. A couple things that I take away from that schedule is, one, look at how they finished. They won their last 4 games. I know the Chiefs were resting their players, but still nice to see Herbert throwing for over 300 yards in a lot of those games. Nice to see them finish the season strong, beating all 3 of their division rivals to close it out. Another thing to notice is that they didn't really beat anybody good. The Chiefs were resting their starters, as I mentioned, week 17. So they didn't really take out any powerhouse teams throughout the season. Another thing to be aware of is how many close losses they had. They had a lot of games that really could have gone either way. So I'm not necessarily looking at this team as a 7-9 team. I think they could have easily won 8 or 9 games last year. So just keeping that into consideration, looking at their schedule for this year. Of course, they have to play the Chiefs twice. You could argue that Dallas has a really, really good offense this year. I think that's going to be a big game as far as people noticing how good Herbert and Dak are. I feel like that could be a really high-scoring game week 2. Cleveland's going to be good. Baltimore should be pretty good. New England should be pretty good. So they do have some tough opponents here, but we're talking about them winning 10 games. Can they get to 10 games? They could actually lose to all of the teams that have winning records. So if you look at the teams that are projected to have winning records, you'd say Baltimore, Cleveland, Kansas City, Dallas, maybe, arguably, right? We'll throw them in there. They could easily just beat the other teams that aren't projected to do well. Las Vegas, Denver, Houston, Giants, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, Philly, right? And I'm not saying they're just going to lose to all the good teams, beat all the bad teams, but they could beat all the bad teams and still hit this over here. So that's something that I'm definitely looking at. So look at the new coach hire, Brandon Staley. He comes from the Sean McVay tree. He was the defensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams. Love that he has ties to McVay. I think very highly of Sean McVay. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm a Seahawks fan, and McVay, that guy's one of my favorite coaches in the league as far as if I trust a guy to game plan and get the most out of his players. Then you look at the jump from Lamar Jackson's first season, where he obviously didn't start every game. He got thrown in at the end of the season. That was Joe Flacco's team that Lamar took over. His stats really weren't impressive. A lot of people thought he should play receiver. Honestly, myself included, his throwing accuracy looks really bad. But it was an offense built for Joe Flacco, right? When he got a full offseason, he got reps with the ones in practice and training camp and preseason. Look at what he did his first season after that, so his second season in the league. Same thing's happening with Justin Herbert here. This was Tyrod Taylor's team going into the season. They did obviously have anticipations of starting Herbert towards the end of the year if they weren't projected to make the playoffs. Tyrod Taylor punctured lung early in the season, 15 minutes before the game, apparently. Crazy story how Herbert started his season. But this is his first year getting that full offseason with the ones and getting those reps in. So I think Herbert can really, just off that alone, build off of his numbers year one. And if we look at those numbers, meant to delete this box up here. If we look at those numbers, they were phenomenal, guys. 4,300 yards. Remember, Tyrod Taylor played week 1. Herbert started week 2 and on. 4,300 yards, 31 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He's going to get 2 extra games in this season, so I think he can hit 5,000 yards easily. The 31 touchdowns. If you're looking at him to win the MVP, which I think he's capable of, which I'll break down towards the end of this video, you really want to see him hit that 50 touchdown mark, which I know is a lot to ask, but we'll see, man. One thing that I really like that held them back last season, I guess from winning games, definitely didn't help Herbert. It didn't hold Herbert back from putting up ridiculous numbers, is that offensive line was terrible last season. They go out, they get what most people regard as the best center in the league in Corey Linsley. He was recruited by Brian Bulaga, who also played with Lindsey for 6 years in Green Bay. So you think of the Green Bay Packers, you think of Aaron Rodgers, really good offensive line. They have 2 key veteran pieces from that team. We have Ode Obusha, who comes over from Detroit. He actually has had 9 years in the league. He's coming off of his first season where he started every game. So this guy is a grinder. He's been a journeyman. Just put together a full season and looked good. Probably what you would consider the weak link of the offensive line. When this guy's the weak link, that's a pretty good offensive line right there. And then Matt Feeler comes over from the Steelers. Of course, you can see him in his uniform there. Steelers is another team that was known for having a really good offensive line. That's going to be different this season. So something to pay attention to if you're looking at the Steelers win total. And then the first round draft pick, 13th pick overall, I believe, Rashawn Slater to protect that blind side. So this offensive line is a huge upgrade. The biggest upgraded offensive line that I can remember in recent years. And this is going to be a top 10 offensive line in the league, potentially even, top 3 or 5. I think this is an offensive line that is loaded. Obviously, big thing is staying healthy, but these are the 5 guys protecting Herbert and allowing him to get the ball to his playmakers. So last year, he didn't have much time. This year, I think it's going to be a huge difference. And I really love that they went out and paid these 2 guys right here. These are proven veterans to go with a first-round draft pick. Man, I'm excited. You guys can see where this is going. I'm very bullish on the Chargers, and this is the big reason right here, these 5 men right here. So we know that the Chargers have 2 great receivers in Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, and then they've got Austin Eckler in the backfield. Super high on Austin Eckler in fantasy, by the way. I just think that the weakness of this team is really the defense. They do have Joey Bosa. They are bringing in a coach that was a former defensive coordinator with the Rams. But we know what we're getting out of these 3. This is a very nice trio combined with Herbert. It's probably top 10, for sure top 15, top half of the league, right? Of course, there's, injury issues with a few of these 3 players. So if we look who they went out and got, Jared Cook, obviously he's past his prime, 34 years old, but he is a nice veteran presence. And then when you pair him up with Trey McKitty, third round draft pick at the tight end position, a big athletic dude, built more like a receiver than a blocking tight end, which I love. I think McKitty gives them a real chance, and another playmaker to add to this offense. I think he could have a monster rookie season. He played at FSU, and then he went to Georgia, so he's got experience at two big schools, one in the ACC, one in the SEC. And then another third-round draft pick, receiver, 6'1", 210, so a big athletic dude from Tennessee, Josh Palmer. I don't know if Palmer will even make an impact, honestly, but I feel like he definitely has a chance. We'll see how he does. I'm keeping an eye on it in training camp. But these three guys really could make an impact, and I think adding these two to the playmakers I showed you in the previous slide, I mean, we could have a lot of playmakers. It could start looking like kind of how the Chiefs' depth at the receiver position is. So we go to this final slide. I kind of got into what I wanted to get into the first time I had this slide up. But seriously, let's count the games that they're playing against weak opponents. We'll say Washington 1, Las Vegas 2, Philly 3, Minnesota 4, Pittsburgh 5, Denver 6, Cincinnati 7, 8 Giants, Houston 9, Denver 10, Vegas 11. So I think those are your 11 wins right there. I think they could split with the Chiefs potentially, and then maybe drop one of those 11 games. But I really don't see a way that they don't get to 10 wins. So I'm comfortable taking the over 9.5. I went out, I locked in $2,000 down, the over 9 at minus 120. I think that was at William Hill. And then at MGM, I took Herbert plus 3,000 to win the MVP. So Herbert wins MVP, getting 12 racks. And then more safe bet, I like them to hit their over on the team win total. So if you guys want to hop on my premium plays for the NFL season, we're going to be charging about $100 a week, same as we've done throughout the summer. So we're looking at around 25, 26 weeks, something like that, start to finish. If you count the preseason and the postseason, this includes it all. This will include fantasy as well. Use code EARLY to get half off. So use code EARLY to get $750 off. That's on the website, sbenation.com. You guys are the best. I love you if you've supported me through the premium picks. Just wanted to say thank you. That's what allows me to do this full time for you guys. And then also, if you found value from this video, please hit that subscribe button. Our current subscriber count is 6,904 subscribers. So that is a ton, guys. I'm super excited about where this channel is going. I appreciate y'all so much for subscribing. That is my Los Angeles Chargers prediction. I've got Herbert winning the MVP, and I've got them going well over their 9.0 win total. Thanks for watching to the end of this video, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.